And since the education department has kind of, left me underwhelmed with what they have done or not done, welcome back to Wine and Chill. I'm Stephanie, your favorite recovering lawyer, and once a month, every month, we discuss how this six-figure student loan payoff journey is going, all the updates going on with student loan forgiveness, student loan forbearance, all of that. And what the heck is going on in education? What's going on in our economy occasionally? Why are the grapes still $10? And some of that sprinkled in. Okay, so if you're new, the agenda always starts with what I paid retroactively, so last month. So for December, it will be what I paid in November. And then we are going to talk about the downfall of legacy admissions. Fingers crossed, hopefully. I'm speaking it into existence. And then, since it's the end of the year, I figured we'd discuss how much I've paid in this entire year. Which this was interesting because this was my first full calendar year of full-time content creation. So I knew the money was going to be a little lower. So it's interesting to compare compared to the rest of the years. All right, so if you're new, my starting balance when I started paying off my student loans, February 14th, 2020 was $304,680.17 trifling cents. Oh, Lord. I paid in November $2,000, the same thing I've been paying for the past couple months, which brings my remainder balance, so the beginning balance for December at $155,273.97 trifling cents. Deep sigh. Which brings my estimated total paid to $160,794.63 hard-earned pennies. It's estimated because I only count it beginning February 14th, 2020, when I actively started paying off my student loans. Before that, was making, my minimum payment. I don't know what those numbers are. So, and then sometimes, that minimum payment was a little fugazi. I'm not gonna lie. So we start from that point. So to be honest, it's probably at least 5 to 10K more than that. That's a lot of money in almost 4 years. Which we'll get into how much I've paid overall in a second. First, let's talk about legacy admissions. So in June of this year, unfortunately, the Supreme Court overturned affirmative action. I did a whole live stream deep dive on it. You can catch that here. I'll link it in the description box as well. And one of the things that I discussed in detail was instead of attacking affirmative action, which for the record, statistically largely benefits white women, doesn't actually benefit Black people the way it was intended to benefit Black people, but does help a little bit. In certain schools, it should be noted, as a Miami mommy, somebody from Miami, affirmative action was overturned in Florida in the early 2000s. Specifically, I believe 2001, and hasn't existed in Florida for many years, unfortunately. One of the things that I made the case for that made a lot more sense was to attack legacy admissions. Legacy admissions, largely in institutions of higher learning, specifically Ivy League schools, admits higher amounts of white students, particularly rich white students, whose parents were able to, give a little money, give a little bit of change, regardless of whether or not those students technically have the grades, the achievements, or, the brain power to be getting this preferential treatment. Case in point, a one George W. Bush.
Those of you who are graduating this afternoon with high honors, awards, and distinctions, I say well done. And as I like to tell the C students, you too can be president.
It should be noted on the record that George Bush himself does not even agree with legacy admissions. This is from the Spokesman Review, which I forgot to put the year in here. I believe he said this in the early 2000s. It's either late 90s or the early 2000s. President Bush, who followed his grandfather and father, both of them went to Yale. So, of course, little George could not go to Yale. Despite an undistinguished academic record, that is a read, undistinguished, said Friday that colleges should get rid of legacy admissions. See, George himself doesn't even believe in it. Preferences that favor the sons and daughters of alumni. I think it ought to be based on merit, Bush told a conference of minority journalists when he was pressed about his view on affirmative action. And I think colleges need to work hard for diversity. Asked directly if colleges should eliminate legacy preferences, Bush said, well, yes, I think so. So after that lawsuit and the overturning of affirmative action, there are 3 separate groups that have now decided to file their own complaints stating legacy admissions is actually the problem, because if we're talking about the basis of who's qualified and who's not qualified, the problem was never we. So the nonprofits filed a lawsuit challenging legacy admissions because legacy admissions specifically overwhelmingly only advantages rich white students and leaves everyone else to dry. So one of the interesting things that is going on now, the education department is also calling for an end to legacy admissions. And since the education department has kind of, left me underwhelmed with what they have done or not done for our student loans, I really hope they can get it together and get rid of legacy admissions, because if it's supposed to be merit-based, then make it be merit-based. However, if you know the definition of equity, equity means helping those that actually need the help, and a little bit of American history would let you know it's not the children of former presidents who need the help. One of the things that at the end of the year I'd like to do is a wrap up of how much damn money did I give these people? And the answer this year was interesting to me because I assumed it would be low. These $2,000 payments I've been making the past couple months are the biggest payments I've made all year. Throughout the year, I've kept it pretty low at $500. As y'all know, in this economy, the money has been funny, but particularly for the creator economy, it has been a wild ride of up and down. AdSense across the board is down for everyone, including me, which I want to take this time to thank y'all. Thank y'all for watching these videos throughout the year, for supporting me. I appreciate y'all. Also, I appreciate when I run into y'all on the street and y'all tell me you have paid off your student loans. That happened last week, so that made me super excited and happy. I'm happy for y'all. And whenever these videos come out, somebody has always gotten either their last student loan payment, so they paid theirs off, or public service loan forgiveness. I messed up PSLF last time, the acronym, because I was tired. It's that time of year. Or has gotten everything forgiven through PSLF. So congratulations in advance to y'all. And without y'all, I wouldn't be able to do this. So I really appreciate it. And an extra shout out to my Patreon, because without y'all support, this channel would not exist in this way. It really would not. So thank you so much to everyone on my Patreon, and a special thank you to everyone on the Sincere tier for all of your support, kindness, words of encouragement, and all the suggestions. You can always leave suggestions for different things, and I'm happy to, put those on my maybe list. So with that, this year I paid $12,525 in 0 trifling cents. I made all even payments. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like, okay, well, that's progress towards it. Interest had not been accruing because of forbearance that we were under, and now currently under the SAVE plan, which I would say more than 50% of the SAVE plan is now implemented. The part that has yet to be implemented, which will likely be implemented in June or July of 2024, is the forgiveness of the loans if you've been paying the loan for more than 10 years. That part hasn't been implemented, but all the interest accruing parts, I read up on the literature on the Department of Education and checked, with my student loans at Advantage, and it seems we're getting that, which is great. I feel a way because $12,000 when you are tackling 6-figure student loans is a bit low. However, I am proud of myself in that in doing my first year of content creation, I have been able to pay all my bills, do a little traveling. My goal this year was to live life. What was the purpose of leaving corporate if I don't get to live my life a little bit? So I allocated my money to a little bit more fun. I'm not even gonna lie about it. And I enjoyed that fun. I really did. And it was worth it to me. And it still wouldn't have been, I'm pretty frugal, so it wouldn't have been that much more money towards the student loans. The interesting thing that I found is now that I have upped my payment, so as you can see on the screen, we started with $500 this year, kept that until the, fall, and then came in with the $2,000 payments and was like, okay, I need to up this a bit more. My goal next year is to make consistently $5,000 payments, because that was what I was paying in corporate. Because I need to get rid of this. If we're going to do a little future planning, which I'm going to do a little future planning with y'all right now, I would love nothing more than to pay off my student loans next year. Which, at the end of this year, I'm going to include that $12,000, by the way, because I know some of y'all are running the math, is inclusive of paying at least $2,000 this December. I might pay more depending on what the money is looking like, but I'm going to pay at least $2,000 this December. So right now we're at $155K. By the end of the year, including that $2,000 payment I'm going to make this month, we'll probably be at $153. Maybe if I get a little extra money. If I could get it to $159, I would be so happy. I really would. I just want to get, a little bit less and less. So say I end the year at $153,000. Next year, I would like to pay $153,273.97 trifling cents. That would be the total of the student loans. And that's a lot of money. However, it's not impossible. And I'm saying that because the first year I started making my student loan payments, I'm going to do this a little bit backwards, which was 2020. When I started aggressively paying them off, I paid $57,338.90 hard-earned pennies. That was when I was in corporate. When I was a corporate lawyer in tech, and she was getting a Black Girls in Tech paycheck. She was. And I allocated, I believe it was like 70% of my post-tax paycheck to my student loans. I also lived in a tiny studio by myself. And for what it's worth, I'm pretty good at managing my money. Actually, screw pretty good. I'm great at managing my money. I've come a long way. Y'all know this if y'all been on this channel a long time. I've come a long way with the cash. For 2021, I couldn't find a wrap-up Instagram post, or it's in one of these videos. We've been doing this for 3 years now, so I couldn't find which one it's in. But it's an estimated $65K if we're doing the math in 2021 that I paid. 2020, midway, July 2020, that's when I got the boot from corporate. So in 2020, I paid $30,778. And then this year, you can see a little bit halved again with this is my first full year of content creation full time. So the only way I'm getting there is to figure out, some other streams of income, which is probably brand sponsorships. I would like things to be even. I don't want to be over reliant on anything. My goal for next year is to pay off my student loans. And I know that is a large goal given that your girl at the end of this year will owe $153K. However, I'm very much of the mindset that if you put things out there, you will, not only work towards them because people are watching you. It is what it is. But also, you never know what kindness you'll receive by people cheering you on towards your goal. So that is my goal. I'm tired. Next year, February, it'll be 4 years I've been paying off my student loans. And this series has been, I'm not going to say fun. This series has been a test of my mother effing patience. And hopefully a bright spot for everybody else that is, struggling through and paying down their student loans. I would like us all to be free of it. I would like to be free of it. So that's my goal next year. Come hook or crook. I don't mean like actual hook or crook. I'm not gonna do anything illegal. Put that out there. This is a legal channel, after all. But with, some learning, some more content, hopefully getting some brand sponsorships, this would have been a good time to be like, from the wine. It's water today. Things like that, I'll be able to pay them off. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm going to put that out there and I'm going to work towards it. And no matter what I do, I will be closer to it regardless. That's the way I'm looking at it. So with that, how are y'all? The end of the year, has been rough. It has been rough. So on that note, the year is wildly coming to an end. I feel like it was going along at a normal pace, then a slow pace, and the past couple months have truly been a blur. And if you're not feeling particularly in the holiday spirit, I feel you. Neither am I, which is why I put this holiday-esque sweater on to see if I would feel it. And now all I feel is really warm. I'm not gonna lie. The heater finally is like full steam kicking in, but hey, we're gonna get through it. And let me know, what are your goals for next year with your student loans? I feel like the more of us, collective good energy and working towards it, then a few of us will get them paid off, which is good. The more the merrier. So on that note, I appreciate y'all, and we'll do another video before the year ends, but if not, I will see y'all in the new year. We will. Definitely on Patreon, definitely on Instagram, and I'll make sure to come back over here to YouTube as well. All right, catch y'all later.